Welcome back everyone. As most of you know, Apple has pushed out these new MacBooks, the 14-inch one and the 16-inch ones, and here's the thing, these MacBooks have a ton of capability and they are pretty much like the perfect MacBooks you can buy. But there is one area where I'm kind of having a hard time understanding that is very, very strange to me that can really only be related to one specific thing, and that is actually the display. And it's not even the notch, it's not anything related to it, it's actually ProMotion, aka 120 Hz. Now the specific thing that's kind of weird that I haven't really heard too many people talk about is actually the battery life. Now here's the thing, I've been using my M1 MacBook Pro, the 13-inch one, for like 7 months full time. I've had a great time with it, the battery life is amazing, very little to complain about. Now this 14-inch MacBook, I was planning on switching over to it, I probably will. I don't think this is going to be a big issue for me, but it could be. And here's the thing, I've been using these like side by side, pretty much the 14-inch here and there, the 13-inch here and there. The thing is, the battery life hasn't really been that big of a difference, I don't think, but I will do a battery comparison at some point. My 13-inch one has already got, degraded in battery health, but this 14-inch one, it seemed like the battery life was pretty decent on it, and it still may be. But compared to that 13-inch M1 MacBook Pro, on Apple's own website, they actually do state that the M1 MacBook Pro, the 14-inch one, has less battery life overall than the 13-inch M1 MacBook Pro, which is much cheaper than it. Now, this didn't make much sense to me. I could have sworn that Apple stated at their keynote that that MacBook had better battery life than the older one. So I went onto their specific spec page, and on Apple's own website, they do actually proclaim that the 13-inch M1 MacBook Pro has pretty much a better battery life all across the board than the 14-inch MacBook Pro. So here are some numbers. So on the M1 MacBook Pro, they say you can go up to 17 hours of wireless web browser. On the new 14-inch MacBook Pro, they say that you can do up to 11 hours of wireless web browsing. So that is pretty crazy. I had no idea what that was supposed to mean. I mean, it's just using Safari and stuff. So that's a pretty crazy thing. They went on to say up to 20 hours of Apple TV app movie playback. I think they're just trying to like showcase and try to have people sign up for it, because I don't even know why that's one of the things. And on the 14-inch one, they say up to 17 hours of Apple TV app movie playback. So again, you're seeing better battery life from Apple's own mouth about the 13-inch M1 MacBook Pro over the 14-inch one. But here's the thing that just doesn't make too much sense to me. The 14-inch M1 MacBook Pro has a bigger sized battery by quite a bit than the M1 MacBook Pro, the 13-inch one. So you have a 58.2 watt hour battery on the M1 MacBook Pro 13-inch, where the 14-inch MacBook Pro has a 70 watt hour battery. So you're getting a much bigger sized battery on the 14-inch model. So it kind of made me think, why was this 13-inch one getting so much better battery life? And it probably has to come down to the display. Maybe the 120 Hz panel, maybe it being a variable refresh rate and going down to 10 Hz or whatever it can go down to, maybe that has more of an effect than we thought. So the last thing I want to do is get a MacBook that's not going to have better battery life, especially the fact that these things are hundreds of dollars difference between each other. So I guess we'll see what happens, but I mean, for there to be 6 hours difference between the wireless web browsing, whatever they say, Safari browsing between these two, that is pretty crazy. So I would love to hear what you guys have to say. I don't want to say the 14-inch MacBooks are horrible or anything, but this is pretty insane. I will have to test this out thoroughly myself, but it is a pretty strange thing that's going on with these new 14-inch MacBooks in my opinion. So in terms of that covers it up here. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.